For the last time of the 2021 college football season, it is preview day as tonight the Florida Gators take on the Central Florida Golden Knights in the Gasparilla Bowl. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at the numbers according to BetOnline and how it's looking like that for the Florida Gators tonight, only here on Locked On Gators. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have some fun with us there. Today's episode is brought to you by NetSuite. NetSuite is the number one cloud financial system to power your growth. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-year financing on the number one financial system for growing businesses. Happy Thursday. Happy game day. I am Brandon Olson. You can find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. I'm also the founder of Whole9Sports.com, where you can find all of my written work. And yeah, let's get right into it. It's offensive preview day. And obviously how we do previews, we look at the keys to victory for the Florida Gators on the offensive side. And then defensive side, so listens have skyrocketed since last time we had a game. So that's how we do it. But offensive keys to victory here, wide receiver screens is what I'm going for. First of all, Florida likes doing it. We know that. We know Florida likes wide receiver screens. They're, I think, the best team in the nation at running wide receiver screens, not necessarily because the most dynamic playmakers, which I do think we have dynamic playmakers, but not because of that, but because our receivers are so consistent as blockers. And that's something where NFL wide receivers, or a lot of Florida Gators, make it to be NFL wide receivers. Part of that is because they do the little things. When you have depth receivers, you want guys that can block. When you special teamers, you want guys that can block. You want gunners. You want all that. The Florida Gators wide receivers do that. So wide receiver screens has to be a key. Central Florida runs a lot of zone coverage. And when you look at zone coverage, oftentimes wide receiver screens kind of put you in a good position to beat that because you might have numbers out wide there. So Florida also runs a lot of zone coverage. Don't get me wrong. Wide receiver screens have worked against them. Look at Wan'Dale Robinson's touchdown. But Florida also does a great job of getting out in front of their receivers and blocking. So you can isolate Central Florida defenders and get out in space. Receiver screens are also great in this game because, well, I know my next key is going to be challenge vertically. But Central Florida has two edge rushers that have been able to hit home pretty solidly this year. You got Big Cat Bryant and Tremont Morris-Brash. Both of them solid edge rushers. I think they combined for 12 sacks this year, if I'm not mistaken. So they can hit home and they get around the end. So if you get the ball out wide quick before they can get around the edge, then you can pick up some yardage there and not worry about getting pressure into the backfield on Emory Jones or Carlos Ariel Wilson or Jalen Kidno, whoever's going to be throwing passes back there. Like I said, the next key, challenge vertically. I say this almost every game. I get it. It's annoying. But Florida, you're better when you do it. We've got a fantastic run game for the Florida Gators. You got Damian Pierce, Malik Davis, Naquan Wright, Emory Jones is a damn good runner. You got your offensive line is pretty bad run blocking and pretty bad pass blocking at that too. But the run game is effective because the runners are so effective. Make the run game better by challenging defenses vertically, because when you challenge those defenses vertically, odds are their corners aren't going to play as much press coverage, or they're going to back off a little bit maybe. I don't think Central Florida is the kind of school where they want to get in our face right now and they want to meet us at the line of scrimmage, especially with big guys like Justin Shorter and Xavier Henderson. So I think if you make them respect your deep passing game, that backs the secondary off a little bit. What does that do better for you? That lets your runners get out wide and to the corner and to the edge and get extra yardage in that way. We already want to get our runners out wide and get them matched up with corners because corners are going to have one hell of a time trying to tackle these guys. So we already want our runners to get to the wide sides. So if you have them even backed off further, that makes it that much better and that much easier, especially when you look at cutbacks and when you look at trying to cut to the sideline to get more space from the front seven. That's another way to do it. So as long as you don't turn it over when you're throwing the ball deep, even if they're incompletions, even if you're throwing incompletions, whether they're out of bounds or deflected, whatever they may be, if you're challenging vertically and not turning the ball over when you challenge vertically, you make Central Florida back off at least a little bit. And it makes the run game better because they can't fully commit to it. It also causes linebackers to back up a little bit because they're going to have to cover more space underneath if the corners are going deep. And then protect the ball is the final key to victory for the Florida Gators, for me at least, in this game, because I get it. I always give the Florida Gators offense some flack for turning the ball over. They do that. And we're probably going to get at least one turnover from this Florida Gators offense, whether it's an Emory Jones interception or someone fumbling, or if Carlos Del Rio Wilson and Jalen Kidney come in, maybe one of them throws a pick. I don't know. I'm not going to assume who's going to do it, but odds are the Florida Gators are going to turn the ball over at some point this game, and one is acceptable. Two is pushing it, but one's acceptable. It happens. However, Central Florida, they're not a chump squad. You've got to respect them and play smart still. You can't just keep turning the ball over. So protecting the ball is the third key to victory, because this isn't a team where, I get it, Florida's favored in this game. They are. Florida's favored in this game. And I'll say it now, the over-under, I'm taking the over on it. But Florida's favored in this game. And I'm favored by 7, which is, a solid lead. But when you look at this game, Florida, you can't turn it over. You can't let Central Florida get in this, because, again, this is a very meaningful game, despite how many people are like, who cares about it? I care about it. You should care about it. The University of Florida, they care about it. The players, they care about it. The NFL, they care about it. They're going to watch this game. This isn't like the Oklahoma game where we had half the team opt out. That's not a thing this year. We got a lot of guys playing in this game. So, Florida, you got a wide receiver screens is a big key to victory. I don't know how often they'll do it, but I think that if they have the wide receiver screens and they pull them off, I think this game gets a lot easier. Challenge vertically. You don't have to be successful. I've been saying this all year. You don't have to be successful when you challenge vertically. You just have to challenge vertically and let them know, hey, we're here to do it. It's like, when you give a receiver a bump after a drop, it's like, yeah, like you were open, but hey, I'm here for you. Things like that. You just got to let them know that you're there. Simple things like that. Protect the ball. That is the most basic part of football. The most basic aspect is not giving the ball to the other team. Protect the ball. Florida, you've got to do it if you want to win this game tonight. I promise you, if you have a turnover-heavy game, you're going to lose. Central Florida is not the kind of school that's just going to roll over because you're a bigger school. Central Florida is not the kind of school where they're just going to be like, well, if they're making mistakes, we can get a little riskier. No, that's not a thing. Florida, you got to protect the ball if you want to win this game. This is it. The putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours, but on your backswing, your hat falls right over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're still relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software. What are you, a boomer? God. To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying well ahead of your competition. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite, and right now, through the end of the year, which is a week and 2 days away. My goodness, that's heartbreaking. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-year financing on the #1 cloud financial system for growing businesses. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts on all platforms. And, of course, YouTube. Subscribe to it. I'm having a blast with YouTube. I love commenting and engaging, and I love talking to people. So I love YouTube. But now looking at the defensive keys to victory, generate pressure is the #1 key that I have here, because Central Florida quarterback Mikey Keene, he gets pressured on about 23.2%. He gets pressured on 23.2% of his dropbacks. And I know people might talk about how that's insane and that's absurd and that's a lot. That sounds like a lot. Every 4 dropbacks, or a little more than every 4 dropbacks, you're getting pressured. That is 7% less than Emory Jones gets pressured. Emory Jones gets pressured on 30.2% of his dropbacks. So, yeah, not great. But Mikey Keene gets pressured on 23.2% of his dropbacks. Mikey Keene also struggles immensely under pressure compared to when he's got a clean pocket. When Mikey Keene has a clean pocket, he's got 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions while completing just under 70% of his passes, 69.3% of his passes to be exact. When he's under pressure, he's got just 1 touchdown and 1 interception while completing just 36% of his passes. That is really bad. That is a massive drop-off. He gets 33% worse, or he completes 33% less passes when he's under pressure compared to when he's got a clean pocket around him. So Mikey Keene, if he's kept clean, is great. I hate myself for that. I'm so sorry. But Mikey Keene, when he's kept clean, is very efficient and very effective. When he's under pressure, he panics. Florida, you got to get on. I don't care who it is. Princely Umanmielen, Brenton Cox Jr., Antonio Valentino, Daquan Newkirk, Javon Dexter. I don't give a damn who gets it. Tyron Hopper, if you want. I don't care. Just get pressure. Because if you get pressure, Mikey Keene will make mistakes. This is something I spoke about yesterday, too, where I think Florida will get pressure, and I think Mikey Keene will make mistakes because that's what he does when he's pressured. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The ratio, not amazing, but not god-awful compared to 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions when he's clean. That's a good ratio, but when you get him under pressure, Mike Keene will make mistakes. He'll force errant passes. I don't care if you pick him off necessarily. I don't. But if you get them in, let's say they throw the ball on first down. They're in 2nd and long now, then 3rd and long. If you can make just mistakes happen from this offense, whether they're incompletions, overthrows, underthrows, I don't care what they are. If you can force errors, if you can get pressure and generate pressure here, that should make this game significantly easier for this Florida Gators team. And then the second key to victory, please, Florida. I know I ask you this all the time. Please wrap someone up. That's all I need you to do. That's the second key to victory. I feel like I don't need to go in depth here. Like I feel like you could look at any Florida game that I've covered, and most of them, I say 80% of the games this year, I've said, please wrap them up. Florida, your run defense isn't great. That's a fact. Florida, you've sucked at tackling all year. That's a fact. Get better at it. I realize it's easier said than done, but keep your head up. Keep your eyes on your target. Wrap them up. Drive through. Do better because it's been so disappointing to watch a team that I think has a ton of talent on the defensive side of the ball just miss tackles. And I'm not even talking about the run defense specifically or solely or exclusively, whatever term you want to use. Passing, Wan'Dale Robinson, I mentioned his touchdown. Look at the missed tackles on that play. There's so many big plays that get generated from this Florida defense because of missed tackles, whether it's against the run or against the pass. Wrap people up. Get your arms around them, drive them, and roll them. Get them down. I don't care how you do it. Just get them down. Tackling needs to be better. That's all I'm saying about that. And then next, I'm going to go a little I feel like I don't usually say a specific defensive scheme that we should look at. And I don't think this is a defensive scheme we're going to see a ton of. But I think cover 2 is the way to go here. I'm expecting a lot of cover 3, a lot of cover 1, and Mabel, because that's what Florida has done a lot of this year defensively. They've mixed it up between those 3 primarily. They've run cover 2 every now and then, but not super often. But I think cover 2 is the way to go here, because when you look at Mikey Keene, he's struggled to throw the ball deep as well. Which, sure, you can look at when he's under pressure and when he's throwing deep, and maybe those overlap, and that's why he's under pressure. And because he's throwing deep, it's obviously going to be less accurate, or it's more likely to fall incomplete because there's more space and all that stuff happen. But he throws deep on almost 25% of his passes, similar to how he gets pressured on almost 25% of his passes. He only completes 26.2% of his passes that go farther than 20 yards downfield. I mean, if you can take those numbers and you go, he's not good when he throws deep. He's not good when he's under pressure. We have a good defensive line at generating pressure. That's the thing. Christian Robinson against Florida State specifically did a fantastic job of simulating pressure, whether or not pressure was getting in or not. He did a fantastic job of simulating pressure and making this defense look like they were going to get in, or making the defense look like they were going to blitz, and confusing the 3 quarterbacks that played for Florida State. I would say just Jordan Travis, but it was all 3 of them. So when you look at this, you go, what can we do? Cover 2 is the way to go here. The defensive line likely going to get pressure, or at least going to simulate pressure coming in. And then when you look at Mikey Keene not being able to throw the ball deep, he's not good at it right now. He's still young, but he's not good at throwing the deep ball. So you have covered 2 here, where you take away the underneath options. A lot of people, okay, I'm just going to go through it here. When you look at cover 2, base cover 2, you've got 4 defensive linemen, or 4 players rushing, because one's stand-up rusher or whatever it may be. You got 4 rushers here. So you got 7 on the back end. You have 2 safeties deep. That would be Rashad Torrance and Trey Dean, most likely. You've got them deep. Then you've got 5 players underneath, playing underneath coverage. You've got 3 linebackers or 2 linebackers and a nickel or star for Florida, and the outside corners all playing underneath coverage. So what do you do at that point? You've got to try to throw deep, whether it's down the sidelines or over the middle. Mikey Keene is not good at doing this. He's not accurate. He doesn't get enough velocity on his ball. He doesn't drive his ball enough. So what do? You make him throw deep. And then Rashad Torrance and Trey Dean, congratulations. You get to make a play on the ball because they are two very good playmakers. So if you force him to throw the ball deep and you're in cover 2, let me tell you, there are going to be turnovers. I think we see more cover 1 than cover 2 this week, just because or today, just because I think that's how it's going to work out. That's what we've been more consistent with. And cover 1 is still also good at challenging people to throw deep and trying to force your receivers to make plays, which I don't think they'll be able to do against Florida very well. So I think you got to generate pressure defensively. You've got to wrap a mother trucker up, please, Florida. And I think cover 2 is the best way to go defensively. Although, again, I think we see more cover 3, more Mabel, more cover 1 than anything else. But hey, you never know. Christian Robinson might surprise you. He's coaching for his future here, whether or not he's going to be a Florida Gator coach this coming season, whether or not he's going to be a Florida Gators coach tomorrow at this point. Anybody else make money this past weekend? I know I didn't. I did yesterday. Yesterday was pretty solid. Thank you, Tuesday Night Football, because at the time that I'm recording this, of course, it is Wednesday. So for me, this is what I'm saying. But Tuesday Night Football, thank you, because that was easy peasy. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Obviously, Florida, you've thrown a whole bunch of wrenches in my plan. You're not doing it tonight. You're not. You're not throwing a wrench in my plans tonight. I believe in you. I trust in you. I need you, Florida. Just saying that right now. BetOnline even covers award shows, TV shows, and reality TV with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. It is the best way to place your bets, and it's 100% free to sign up. Head to the website or use your mobile device, which is how I bet, to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Make sure to use promo code LOCKEDON, that is LOCKEDON, on your first deposit for a 50% welcome bonus. Now we're going to look at BetOnline odds and BetOnline numbers for tonight's game, because I'm excited for it. The game is, of course, tonight at 7 p.m., where Florida takes on Central Florida for the Battle of the State. And this segment's obviously probably going to be a little bit shorter, just considering that there's not a ton of odds here, but Florida's -7 for this game. I am hammering that one. I think it'll be a 10-14 point win. As obviously, not that the score will be 10-14. I think that Florida will win by 10 or 14 points. I think we're around that range. I think Florida's better than that, but I think that they haven't performed up to standards. So I think when you look on paper, Florida should blow Central Florida out the water. I don't think that will happen, but I think Florida will cover this 7-point spread. I'm not. Knock on wood, because I'm not super worried about Florida not covering here. But I think Florida's got everything they can to cover the spread. I think it's a favorable spread. I think it actually might go up for Florida, as in it might be -8 by the time kickoff happens. Or maybe people hammer the opposite way and it gets better if you want to be a Florida bettor. I have not bet yet. I bet the day of. So I bet not the day, like an hour before the game is usually when I place my bets. And like I said, I am recording Wednesday, so that's obviously it's not the day of, even if I did only bet the day of, but I usually bet an hour before kickoff time. So Florida, just because I like the lines. So Florida hammering -7. The over-under is 55.5, 55.5, which is really fun. That's an easy over for me. That is an easier over for me than Western Kentucky versus App State. That's what I'm saying. It's an easy over for me. Bowl games tend to be higher scoring. That's a fact. That's just bowl games. I don't know, for whatever reason. Maybe it's the unfamiliarity with an opponent's offense, and so defenses aren't as solid. I don't know. But bowl games tend to be higher scoring than usual. The Gasparilla Bowl tends to be pretty high scoring as it is. And also this is basically a neutral site game in the purest of senses, because yes, most bowl games are neutral site games. But this is in Tampa, and it's Florida versus Central Florida. These schools, they're close enough where their fans are going to come watch this bowl game. And it's going to be, I think, pretty evenly distributed. Central Florida has a wild fan base. The Gators have a wild fan base. I'm sure they will both be very well represented. And there's no exception in this game of bowl games tend to be higher scoring. The Gasparilla Bowl tends to be higher scoring. There's no exception here. These two teams, both of them want to put up points. Both of them, their defenses have been suspect at times. I'll say that. Florida, obviously, more so than most schools, but I think both of these teams are very capable of putting up a lot of points. I think this is going to be very high scoring. Like, this could be a game where I see Florida scoring 40. I could see Central Florida scoring 30 easily, but I see Florida scoring 40. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. I don't like the 55.5 because I think that Florida, when we watched the Florida State game, they kind of threw the ball downfield more than Dan Mullen allowed them to. And I think that continues to ring true. So I think this game, I think this game's going to lose Vegas some money because I think the point total is hitting. I think Florida's covering. I don't think I've been, this is going to suck to say. I don't think I've been more confident in a Florida spread or Florida point total in a very long time. So yeah, I'm hammering this one. I'm hammering Florida to cover. If there's an alt spread, I might even take that because I'm just feeling dangerous today. And I think I might even take an alt spread if there's an alt total for points because I kind of like it. I like that this game, I think, is going to be very high scoring. So I'm looking forward to it. I think people are expecting more runs than we're going to get. I think we're going to see the team throw the ball. I think we're going to see the Florida Gators air it out. And Central Florida is either going to have to match or roll over. And at that point, big dub for Florida. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't miss out tomorrow as it's obviously Gasparilla Bowl review time. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets your daily one-stop shop for all of your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. For Locked On Gators, I am Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. I'm also the founder of OnlineSports.com, where you can find all of my written work that is WHOLE and on Any Sports. And I'll see you all tomorrow.